Have you ever been kind of thrown off your game by criticism or just negativity in general? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dig into a really powerful piece of ancient Taoist wisdom. It offers a totally different way to look at these moments, helping you protect your energy and, stay on your own path. So, this is the main idea we're going to unpack. According to Taoist thought, once you really truly get this principle, you'll never see criticism the same way again. See, it's not about your reaction. It shifts the whole focus onto where the other person is coming from, where they are in their own life. And, this idea that how people treat you is a reflection of them, it just gets clearer and clearer the more people you meet. It's a pattern you start to notice over time, and it really reinforces this belief that your own vision is what guides your destiny, not what other people think. Okay, so to make this whole concept more practical, Taoism gives us a pretty simple framework to understand these interactions. It suggests thinking about people in three different levels, all relative to where you are. So what are these three levels? It's pretty straightforward. You have people who are below you, people who are at your level, and people who are above you. What's really interesting, though, is how each of these groups tends to act towards you. People who are above you, they'll usually encourage you. Why? Because they remember what it was like to be on the same climb. Now, those at your level, they tend to appreciate you because they get the journey you're on right now. But according to this way of thinking, it's the people below you who are most likely to attack. So why the attacks? Well, this wisdom suggests it's because they just can't see the vision you have for yourself. Your path is totally beyond their point of view. So what do? They try to drag you back down to their level, a place that makes sense to them. This all leads to a really powerful metaphor from Taoist masters. It's designed to teach us how to manage our energy when we're faced with this exact kind of negativity. And this brings us to the most important question, right? What's the wisest thing to do? How do you handle these attacks without getting pulled off your own course? This quote pretty much says it all. The great tree, that's your potential, your goals. And the grass, that symbolizes all the small, petty attacks and negativity from people who just don't get your journey. The lesson here is so clear. Getting into that fight only wastes the energy you need to grow. Here's another way to think about it, just to really let it sink in. A general who's focused on winning a war isn't going to stop to fight ants with his sword. They're just not relevant to his big picture goal. The very same idea applies to what you focus on in your life. So these ideas are great, but how do we actually bring them into our everyday lives? How do we apply this idea of not getting sucked into pointless fights? The advice here is actually really direct. When you run into toxic people, the smartest thing to do is just walk away. If you're in a bad situation, cut your losses and move on, instead of pouring more energy into it. You don't owe an explanation to people who seem determined to misunderstand you. Instead, you can be generous with your silence. And maybe most importantly, learn to let things go without holding on to anger. It's really crucial to understand this next part. This act of letting go, it's not a sign of weakness. Not at all. In the Taoist view, it's actually the deepest kind of wisdom. It's a strategic choice to save your mental and emotional energy for the things that actually matter. And all of this brings us to one final, beautiful metaphor for how to move through life's challenges. It takes us beyond just not engaging and towards a kind of effortless progress. So the river's goal is always the sea. It doesn't waste its energy trying to break the rocks in its path, it just flows around them. It changes its course, knowing that this path of least resistance is what will ultimately get it where it needs to go. The obstacles aren't a reason to fight, they're just a sign to adjust your path. And that really leaves us with a final thought to reflect on. In your own life, with your own obstacles and critics, where are you wasting energy fighting the rocks? And where, instead, could you just choose to flow?